Do you struggle with self-promotion? How about asking for a raise or asking for the sale? For some people, it comes naturally. Some people, it comes a little too naturally. But for many of us, it can be a challenge. It can be something that we either avoid or we struggle to do it well. Welcome back to Neuroconversing Leadership, where we talk about effective communication and leadership, especially in the STEM workplace. I'm Jeremy Doran, and I love to help great engineers become great leaders. Today, we're going to talk about how to effectively promote ourselves and our value to others, maybe even asking for a raise or asking for that sale. It's a valuable skill for anyone who wants to get ahead in business. I've just set up a few workshops for my effective leadership development course. I know how valuable this course is. I've seen it transform and accelerate hundreds of people on their journeys into leadership. But do other people know how valuable it is? Only if I tell them. And therein lies the problem. I'm not great at promoting myself or what it is that I offer. There are a number of good reasons why many of us struggle with this. Nobody likes a braggart. According to a Harvard Business Review article by Leslie John, people who brag are seen as egotistical, insecure, and inconsiderate. And what's more, they're not perceived as any more competent than someone who hasn't bragged about themselves and who is a little bit more humble. In fact, self-promotion has been associated with worse performance reviews, and unfairly, it's even more so with women who are judged more harshly for promoting themselves. Now, most of us have a sense of this, and that's kind of why we try to avoid it. We probably take it a little too far. In my case, I definitely have taken it too far. Or we may try to appear to be humble while also self-promoting. You've probably heard of the term humble brag. Something like, I wish I could get better at golf, but qualifying for the Boston Marathon has taken all of my time. Is that really being humble? I don't think so. Or a faux complaint. Oh, it's so tiring being the one that the boss gives all of the really challenging projects to. Really? You think that we don't see through what you're doing there? So what are some ways that you can find the right balance? One is that you can share when asked. In a recent episode, I talked about accepting compliments rather than dismissing them. And along those same lines, if someone asks you about an accomplishment, tell them. If they ask, it's okay to tell. And in fact, if you avoid answering, it can make you appear kind of squirrely and a little less trustworthy. Now, as an example, I enjoy is a relative term, doing triathlons, but I was never much of a swimmer growing up. And if people would ask me about swimming, my response would always be, oh, I'm a terrible swimmer. And I would just leave it at that. When in fact, at one point I thought about it and I changed that answer. If someone asked, I say, I used to be a terrible swimmer, but now I'm able to swim a couple of miles in the ocean. Not nearly as fast as I'd like to be, but I'm pretty proud of how far I've come. That was a truthful answer. It was also doing some self-promotion, but I don't think it goes too far. If somebody asks, give them an honest answer, even if it feels a little bit prideful. The second one is share when others are sharing. When people share information about themselves, it's always great to ask questions, and it's always great to get to the next level of what that information really means to them and why it's important. But the conversation is going to be unbalanced unless you also share a little bit about yourself. If you only ask questions, it can seem like an interrogation. If they're sharing, you share. And if they're sharing something they're proud of, it's okay for you to share something you're proud of. I suggest that the thing you share is different than the thing that they were proud of. If you're not careful, that can seem like one-upsmanship, and nobody likes that. So if they're sharing, it's okay for you to share. And the third one is have a champion. Have other people do your promotion for you. Actors and athletes are fantastic at this. They have both publicists and agents. Turns out when you brag about someone else, it does not elicit the same type of negative emotion like envy and annoyance that self-promotion does. It's also more effective and it's more readily believed. If someone else is saying a great thing about you, people believe it more quickly than they'd believe it if you said it about yourself. I don't know about you, but I don't have a publicist. But you can find a champion, either someone at your workplace who would be happy to talk you up, or if you're a solopreneur, then perhaps someone that you network with. You can make an agreement that, hey, we're each going to go out and promote the other person's business. It feels more comfortable talking up someone else, and as mentioned, it's actually more effective. Do you feel awkward about asking? Are you afraid that you might be rejected? A study done at Cornell University shows that people are actually 50% more willing to help than expected. So if you think there's a chance that the person's going to reject your request to help, chances are they're more willing than you think. And they're not only willing, they're usually happy to help because they feel like they're then contributing and doing a good thing. Like so many things in life, there's definitely a balance when it comes to self-promotion. It's kind of like a guitar string. Bragging is like that string being too tight. It's going to make people cover their ears, and the string might even break. But when you avoid promoting yourself altogether, it's like having a string that's way too loose. You can't make any music with it at all. So rather than avoiding talking about your accomplishments and even asking for that sale, think about how you can keep balance to promote yourself while not turning others off. In the spirit of this, I'm going to ask you to be my champion. Do you know an organization that would benefit from my effective leadership development course? If so, would you talk me up? Send them to my webpage, neuroconversantleadership.com/workshops, and they can see what I have on offer. And if you want to look like a hero, you can offer them the promo code ACCELERATE, which will give them 15% off. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to talking to you again next week.